Thank you so much. Greetings all you listeners, brothers and sisters out there, Hotep. Thanks very much for inviting me, sister. We spoke when I saw your show about a month or so ago.
Yes.
We spoke, we had a great conversation over the phone. In fact, you were at a meeting or some workshop somewhere in some college or university, because when I called your phone number, you said, yes, if you're interested in the workshop or the classes or whatever, leave your name. I said, oh.
Oh, that's the seminar
right.
I do every last Sunday of the month.
Exactly.
Down in Manhattan.
That's when I called you and I said, oh, sister probably won't be able to get back to me in weeks. But I was surprised that you got back to me that same evening.
Yes.
That same evening. I said, wow, she made it back in town. I had no idea what a seminar was. I thought it was another state.
No.
Got back in town, called me. We hit it off on an intellectual, spiritual level. And we talked for like at least a couple of hours.
Yes.
You know, it was a wonderful conversation. During that conversation, I shared my profession with you, and my profession is that of instructor on preparedness and survival for either man-made disasters or natural disasters.
Wow.
And so we talked about that, and I elaborated to you what my specialty was, which is natural healing techniques, methods, and systems of natural healing. And that was my specialty as an instructor for the Black and Latino community, because the Black and Latino community, as always, is far behind all the rest of the other population in terms of preparedness and survival. You saw what happened to our people in Katrina. So that's why I focus very much on health and well-being, because you could have all the equipment in the world, you can have all the tools and accessories and everything, but if your health is no good, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you might not make it.
That's right.
So that's one of the things that I really specialize and focus on with regards to my classes and workshops and lectures on preparedness and survival for the Black and Latino community. I have to be specific on that. The Black and Latino community. They need to wake up, get with the program. What happened in Katrina should never, ever happen again to us. Should never happen again. So anyway, I brought a bunch of beautiful books. Thank you for allowing me this time and this space. And before I get into anything, any of the books and techniques and methods and systems of, health and well-being, the very first thing we need to do is to learn about internal cleansing, purification, detoxification, things of that nature. When you're going to construct a house or a building, the first thing you got to do is clean out the stuff. Clean out all the old refuse and stuff that's, useless and whatever. So the first thing people need to do is to look in the health food magazines and look up a colonic therapist. Colonic therapist, learn how to keep your colon clean. See this book over here, Colon Health. Very important. That's the first step in learning about natural health and well-being, is the colon health. You got to keep your colon clean. I mean, not just the colon, but you got to keep the whole body clean, but especially the colon, the health of the colon. And when you start to do the research and you look into the magazines and the health food store, you go to your colonic therapist, you call them up. I'm interested in learning more about colonics. Of course, you need to do your research on the internet and the library, but also go over there, call them up. I'm in the market for a colonic therapist. How much do you charge? What are your hours? So on and so forth. But when people call me back and they say, Paul, that stuff is expensive, man. I'm not going to spend $200 on a colonic therapist, for one session. But look at it this way. You got to give up the money regardless. God forbid you get colon cancer or prostate cancer for men, or breast cancer or reproductive cancer for the women. You got to lose the money anyway. So you might as well flow with Mother Nature and her wisdom, her infinite wisdom, her intelligence, and her guidance, rather than to hand yourself over to a corporation, which is what the American Medical Association is, and the Food and Drug Administration. Those are corporations. Corporations are here to make money. They're in the business of making money and profits. So if you can't afford, so what I tell people, oh, you can't afford a colonic, huh? Okay, but you can afford fancy clothes, fancy jewelry, fancy trips here and there. Okay, I'm gonna give you another, the next level. You can't afford colonics? Do you have $5 on you? Do you have $5 or $6 on you? You can go to Rite Aid or Duane Reade or CVS and get yourself a fountain syringe and learn how to do high enemas at home if you cannot afford colonics. But make sure you get the one that has all of the attachments and the tube And don't make the mistake of getting a hot water bottle. Look at it. Now, Dick Gregory stands by colonics. Dick Gregory is always talking about internal cleansing, purification. He uses lemons. He told people, get some spring water and get some lemons. And learn how to use an enema bag, also known as a fountain syringe, and flush out all that toxic stuff that's been holding you down mentally, emotionally. And once you start to release all those toxins from the colon, then the rest of the organs, glands, and systems in the body will have a place to flush out their toxins.
Right.
And, poisons and so on and so forth. So I tell people, you ain't got money for a colonic? Don't tell me you don't have $5 or $6 for a syringe. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? So get yourself over to Dwayne Reed or CVS and get yourself a fountain syringe. You don't know how to use it, call me and I will give you some basic techniques that you can utilize. Like you can massage yourself, your soles, massage certain acupressure points in the front of your legs, the soles of your feet, and also very, very important when you do internal cleansing and you learn how to hold the 2-quart capacity of water, you must learn how to massage yourself. Get a book that has the illustration of the colon, how the colon, where it starts on the lower right-hand corner, goes up the ascending colon, then it crosses over from the right side to the left side. It's called the transverse colon. Then the colon goes down the left side. That's the descending colon. So when you take water into your body, it goes up the left side. The descending colon crosses over the ascending colon, and then, the transverse colon, and then goes down the descending colon. So when you are able to hold the water at home with all the herbs or coffee or lemon or whatever, you massage yourself. And they say one of the worst places that gets cancer in the colon is the part of the colon where the small intestine begins and the large intestine starts, which is I forget the duodenal area, I forget what they call it. Anyway, it's down in the lower right-hand corner. You must massage that area, especially that area, to release all the fecal matter that's been, stuck there for years and years with mucus, parasites, pus, all kind of stuff. Sorry to be so graphic, but I got to get the message and the point across. This epidemic of cancer in the Black and Latino neighborhoods is ridiculous, absurd. A simple thing like learning how to use a fountain syringe can make the big difference of life and death, especially nowadays with so much contamination in the air, the water, and the food. Hundreds of years ago, our ancestors didn't have all this contamination in the air, the water, and the food that we have nowadays. So maybe they didn't have to use all of this stuff, because people say, oh, but Paul, that's not natural. You got to put water up into the rectal area and into, well, neither is cancer. Cancer isn't natural either. They didn't have that, 200 or 300 years ago. Therefore, you have to take drastic measures, but still you're working within the realm of natural healing. That's non-toxic, it's non-harmful, and it's non-addictive.
Right.
Consider the differences. Weigh the balances. If you don't use internal cleansing, then what's the possibility? Every time you turn around, I have friends and colleagues call me a Paul. I got these strange symptoms. I said, well, what was it? Did you go to the doctor? Did you go to the hospital? Yeah, I went to the hospital. Went to the doctor. What did they tell you? They don't know. They never seen these symptoms. They never seen these manifestations. They don't know what to label it. They don't know what to do. They did the x-rays, the urinalysis, the hair analysis, the blood work, et cetera, but they still don't know what the hell it is. Okay, so what's going on? What's happening? Oh, but they giving me this medicine. What? Giving you medicine for what? If they can't label, if they can't identify the illness or the strange disease or symptoms or whatever, why are you taking this medicine?
Taking medicine.